Hey everybody, welcome to the Twisted Cat Outdoors podcast, where we give you information on tournaments, events, everything in the catfishing world, bringing you value, tips and tricks, things that you can do out there on the water. Let's get this show started.
I think I just set a Twisted Cat Outdoors 3-fish record.
Sorry about that. I had to clear my throat. It's Monday night, 7:02. We might have been a minute late because we were searching for world record catfish, particularly blue catfish, because I believe that the world record was caught this weekend, but it wasn't caught in Keystone Lake. Maybe close, or maybe one got off at the boat. Who knows? We got a special guest on tonight, Chris Wallace, a.k.a. Fudd. I've known Chris for, well, I'll have to ask him, a long time. One of the first guys in the sport of catfishing that I've ever really got to know, talk to, fish tournaments with. My first big tournament that I ever fished was Monsters on the Ohio 2012, something like that, maybe earlier. But we'll kind of get into that in a minute. But anyways, Chris Wallace is a true friend, good dude, always has been there for me over the years, and glad to call him a good buddy of mine. So we don't really know. He texted me this morning. He said, hey, have me on the podcast. I thought, you know what? I haven't had you on in a while. Used to do podcasts all the time. I am pretty fresh at it, pretty new. Only about a year or so in, year and a half in. But he'll bring some good insight. We have no really agenda. We're going to maybe talk about Keystone a little bit. We're going to talk about what's coming up for the championship, maybe the future, maybe 2026, rules, anything you want to talk about. Let's dive in. We're definitely going to talk about this catfish that was caught over the weekend. And we know where it was caught, the Missouri River, one of the best fisheries in the country and maybe in the world. But without further ado, let's bring in my good old buddy pal. How we doing?
Great. How are you, Alex?
Oh, good. Gosh, we spent a little bit of time. Hey, I found the picture.
Did you find it?
I found the picture. I did. I also found this.
I found the ghost.
But the cherry limeade, and I've been really fond of the Welch's ghost. This is my first time trying this. It's probably going to be complete crap. I don't know why people keep. Someday I'll get a cool jersey. Okay, let's see what we got here. Smells good.
What flavor is that?
Cherry limeade.
You don't like it?
Actually, it's not bad. Like I drink a strawberry limeade every once in a while from Sonic. I've had a cherry limeade before. It's not bad. Zero sugar.
I got me a beer. And
yeah, you got a little heavy beer.
Yeah. If I get a little tipsy tonight, I apologize.
Oh, yeah, don't do that.
So we're talking about that fish. We were talking about this. You found that picture. Can you put that up on there?
Yeah. So, can everybody hear us? Okay, volume's good on Chris's side, good on my side. Give us a thumbs up in the chat on that, and then we will get the podcast rolling. Matt Mosley's in the house tonight. What's going on, brother? What do you watch? You got nothing bad playing on the TV, I hope, right? We don't want like anything weird going on back there.
No, I got an OLED TV, and I just threw up some like YouTube 4K shows just so something would be on there.
Okay. So I don't know that I posted this on Rippin' Lips, but we'll pull up Rippin' Lips because I knew it was on here. Oh, Liz. What's up, ET Drums? Liz says we're twinning, and yes. I 100% went down. I went downstairs and changed my sweatshirt so me and Fudd are twinning.
You gotta get the hat.
I might have that hat up here, actually. Yeah. That might be two if we're doubling up on the hats, but okay. Let's present, which we got a lot to talk about, but we've got to start with this world record, state record, whatever record. Share screen. Okay. Rippin' Lips Facebook page, which if you're not following Rippin' Lips, I mean, here's your chance. You should definitely follow. Okay. Rippin' Lips has been around a long time, Chris, before I even got into the sport. So we found this was possibly the world record caught. Is this correct? Is this the one that we were talking about?
No.
Oh, this isn't the one? Oh,
No.
crap. So this is not the one. Let's keep looking. Hold on. This one.
There we go.
Okay. Oh, man.
That one had a lot of talk about it. That's when I seen that fish, this is the picture that came to my mind. And the fish that was caught this weekend, to me, looks bigger than this. And this fish didn't have nearly the photos or the videos to accompany it that this other one has. So it's really difficult to compare.
No,
I remember people using like a tape measure, digital tape measure type of thing to try to estimate the head size on that fish. And
I mean, this is so old though. That's the old Diet Coke can. It's the old color. What was that? Do they make those anymore?
I can't tell what that is.
I mean, there's
It is a Diet Coke. Yeah, that's the old gold Diet Coke can. That's an old photo for sure.
So I don't know. I am going to say this is definitely a 90 plus class. And the reason that I say that is I have personally seen 5 fish over 100 pounds, actually 6 fish over 100 pounds, 5 of them in Twisted Cat tournaments. And 100-pound class fish is definitely, I don't know, almost like a monster in a way. Like just the way that, you can kind of look at a head and stuff. This fish is hard to tell. We'll never know. Was it 95? Was it 125? But no matter what, it's a giant. But we finally found that picture we were looking at. There was another good one deep in this. You know what? For a while, I thought that was you. Is that you in your younger days?
No. I don't know who that is.
Oh, he used to be pros. That was in 2015. He's a guide up north on the red.
Oh, that's Brad Durek?
That's Brad Durek right there.
I got a story about Brad Durek. I literally was scrolling Facebook one day and seen what I thought was me, but it was like in some memory that I did not remember at all. And I kept looking at it. It took me way too long to realize it was Brad Durek. It wasn't me.
It wasn't you. So you thought it was, yeah. Well,
yeah. Me and Brad are buddies. I've talked to him quite a bit. I've wanted to get up there and fish with him on the red for a long time. I've never made that happen. I really, really want to.
Yeah, I thought there was another picture of a different angle of that fish.
I don't think I ever seen another picture of that fish besides that one. So if there is another one.
This is old. I mean, Rippin' Lips, this has been. I mean, does anybody recognize this guy here? Anybody know who that is? That's John Jameson. He used to own Rippin' Lips. Look at fillets. Yeah, it's cool looking back here. There's John again right there.
Speaking of John Jameson, Brad Durek, one of only a couple of guys that's been sponsored by Johnson Outdoors as well.
Yeah.
That's the
it's cool looking.
Humminbird, Minn Kota.
It's cool looking back at the Facebook page of Ripping Lips. It's been around for so long. There's John there. The old red rods, man. That's over 11 years ago. So what was our first tournament that me and you fished?
Yeah, the Monsters on the Ohio.
Monsters on the Ohio.
Aaron Wheatley. Owensboro, Kentucky.
Owensboro, Kentucky.
It could have been around that 2012 mark. I don't remember. You said that year. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that was fun back when we fished it. Remember that big flathead we caught and that big striper that I thought we had a 100-pound blue on? And it was a damn 30-pound striper.
Yep. Yeah, it was. I think we may have both fell asleep at one point on your couches on your Easy Cat or Big Easy. What was that? A Big Easy?
That was an Easy 200. So that was literally, I think I got into fishing that May or so. No, June. That June, I went out for the first time for catfishing with Jason Kaler. And I had a 25-foot fiberglass boat, sold it, bought an Easy 200, fished a few tournaments, and then I fished October with you at Monsters on the Ohio. And I had a big tote in there, remember, for a live well? Built like a big live well. And then that fall, sold it and bought a ProCat 240 camo, same color. And sold that, got a silver ProCat 240. And then I got the Dynasty. And the really last week was rough on me. I dropped the Sea Arc Dynasty off that I've had for almost 3 years to a local guy to me about 10 minutes away from me. Dropped it off at his shop last Thursday. That sucked. But good news, I'm going to get a boat this week. So it'll be a surprise. What boat will it be? One ton. I was waiting for you to say something smart. So let's talk about that fish. I'm gonna pull up a picture of that thing. I actually shared one on my personal. I screenshotted some of these pictures. And I truly believe that's a good picture. This picture right here, I think, is the one. This is the one that showed me, like, okay, this fish, the upper jaw, I mean, see his hand, which I know you probably can't see it good, but his hand right there, I mean, that thing is massive.
Yeah. Really, the head and the body on that thing. I mean, and you can tell the length is there too, but the head and the body on that, and the guy's not, he's not 100-pound.
I don't. Yeah,
4'3" guy or anything.
I'm friends with Jesse, but I don't know that I've seen him in person. But he doesn't look like a little feller.
I mean,
but the mouth. I mean, here's the thing: is look at the whiskers on the bottom whiskers, the side whisker, and his eyes. Look at that right there on this top of his head. I mean, that fish is. I hate to take away from the guy that has the world record, or the guy that has the Missouri State record, and it just sucks because we will never know. I mean, I don't even know in our lifetime we will see another fish like this.
I hope so. I hope that fish grows. I hope he was, he got released. I know he was released. I hope he was healthy and he makes it to be caught again. And maybe that be a tournament or just some other angler that is able to keep it healthy long enough to get a good weight and measurement on it. This is a good opportunity for people to, at the very least, put the tape measure, not the soft tape measure in your boat. Get good measurements. Just like this guy here, I would absolutely, with measurements, 100% have a replica made of that fish.
Oh,
And
dude.
if you had the measurements, you could get a good estimate on the weight of it, even though he couldn't really truly get it up by himself with a scale. And he's seen 126, which almost everybody that has commented on that photo has said they believe that fish to be well over the 126. And when I first seen that fish,
dude, I've weighed a
pounds.
ton of fish in my life. And, the biggest thing is on Facebook, you have people that they catch a 40-pound fish, they take a picture of it, and it's 60. And I think it's really hard to judge the size of fish because so many come to the scales. And I love asking people, what does it weigh? Well, your scale's off, and it's not off. It's just, number one, it's really tough to get a solid weight in a boat. And a fish of that caliber, I don't care what scales you have, you're not going to get a true weight, with the way that the boat's moving. I mean, how do you even weigh a fish like that? With what scale? I mean, a $30 Walmart scale or Amazon. I mean, you better have a quality scale that's going to do it. I mean, to really get an accurate weight. But
yeah, Nathan Blint says it looks like the one he lost at the boat.
And just think of that. I mean, just imagine. Well, I know that not a lot of those get lost at the boat, but just imagine how many of those, the people say, "Oh, I lost that one at the boat." Yeah. And everything got to go right. I mean, Jesse said that he caught it on a small piece of Asian carp, so you didn't need a massive piece of bait. He was in the right place at the right time, right day. Everything worked out as planned.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at this.
That's just the 104 that I caught, and that fish, you can tell. Look at the difference in those two fish. I mean,
yeah. Well, even the length.
Yeah.
Even the length.
I was getting tired on that. I ain't gonna lie. I was getting pretty tired holding that fish too. And not because we had him out of the water for so long, but just because I have a bad shoulder and I'm getting older and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Just like Devin said, imagine landing that fish solo.
I know. I mean, that dude, the fact he got it in the boat, you have to give him a ton of props.
Yeah. I'm just going to say the unofficial world record. But let's go back to that. People always talk about what's the best body of water in the country. Is it Norco, Louisiana? You can go down there and you can catch 100 pounds in 3 really easy. It's so easy. I mean, is it easy? And that's why it's so much fun. I mean, is it worth it? I mean, I've been down there. Have you been down there? To me, I've went to Norco one time. The ramp is trash. How I have 4 tires still, I don't know. I got some spam in the Chris White. Yeah, I got to get rid of some spam in the chat. I don't know. Sharon Pearson's after Mosley. So, okay. So in my mind, I am considering the Missouri. I say the Missouri River, hands down, is the best fishery in the country, if not the world, when it comes to blue catfish. And the only reason is, from all the bodies of water that we fished, everything. I mean, it's always the Missouri River. So, Twisted Cat is on a year 11. We've had tournaments down south of Helena, Arkansas, up the Missouri River in Alabama. How many Syrac tournaments have we had in Alabama? How many 100-pound fish get caught year after year? David Shipman, caught 100-pound fish the day before pre-fishing for the Alton Classic. The Alton Classic has had 3, I think, in the last 2 years. It's just the Missouri River is the place to do it. The Iowa record just got caught out of Council Bluffs. I mean, what do you think in chat right now? What would you say? I'm saying the big fish fishery. What's the best big fish fishery in the country? And that means like how the amount of big fish over 100 pounds that get caught. I want to see what people in chat think. Mine is definitely the Missouri River. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I was going to say, if for the objective that you're going for, if it's to catch that triple digit fish, and you really have that in your mind as a goal, as a fisherman, cat fisherman, I would hands down say you need to go to the Missouri River. You mentioned Norco. I've been there as well. That's something I believe that everybody should experience, because it's a whole different kind of fun. There's a lot you'll learn in the very first time of doing it, making sure you have plenty of fluids, because you're going to get wore out. So keeping your energy and your body hydrated is actually a pretty important thing down there.
So Nathan said Alabama.
Man, Alabama
Let's talk
is.
about Alabama.
I live right here. I live literally 3 minutes from Second Creek on Wheeler and 5 minutes from Safety Harbor on Wilson. So I live here in the town of Elgin, Alabama, and that's where my 104 was caught. Honestly, I caught that fish before even getting moved in down here. I moved here from Indiana. So, yes, they're out here, but I've been coming here for 12 plus years. I don't even know how long I've been coming to Alabama fishing the very first Bama Blues or Winter Blues back then. But I haven't seen a ton of those 100-pounders like I've seen from the Missouri River. So, yeah,
I bet I know of 10 100-pound fish caught in the last 30 days on the Missouri River. 10. That's wild. I mean, that's impressive. And it's year round. I mean, it's just, it's a unique river. It's tough to fish, though. It'll humble you. You can go there and think that you've got it figured out, and tomorrow you don't even get a bite, a sniff. And the next day you catch a state record, world record. Some of the biggest weights we've ever had are on the Missouri River. Actually, Alton in the spring is some of the biggest weights we've ever had. 2 out of the last 3 years was over 180 pounds in 3. Not 5, 3. Joe Lunsford had 180, I think 184, something like that. 2 years before that, we had 191. Scott Linton and Jake Nally, 191 pounds. That's crazy. Now, their third fish was only like 6 pounds, so do the math on that. You just can't do that really anywhere else, and that's what's kind of impressive about it. But Dylan's killing me today, Lake Ouachita. So Twisted Cat, Missouri River 2026. I don't know. I mean, maybe. We're looking at it hard. That's for dang sure.
Yeah. I know that Terry, Lisa, and myself plan on fishing Twisted Cat more so. Hopefully all the tournaments this next year coming up.
So let's talk about that. While we're talking about that, let's share it. Well, I can actually share it, but it won't go. I want to show everybody how to follow the website, because it's on the website. All right. There's the website. If you want to go to points race, It's always going to be the hyperlink in 2025 points race calculations. All you got to do is click it. Even if you go to 2026 tournaments, hit Decatur, Alabama, it's right there. Speaking of Decatur, Alabama, I think we're at 59 teams, which is great. I mean, that's awesome. So I'm going to click this, but the hyperlink does show up. So I click it. Here's points. I'll make points big. I think that's about as big as I can make them. So if you're not looking at this sideways on your phone, you might want to. I know some of you watched on your TV, but I'll kind of run it down. It's gotten really interesting. Craig Norris is in the lead, 793. And then Eddie Henney, John Jamison, Joseph Lunsford, Kevin Parks tied with 789. Cassie is in the lead with 775 over Don and Maggie. Don's got 769 and then 760. So that's going to be the lady angler. But down here is where I kind of wanted to talk to you about. This is what got really interesting at Keystone, is everything played out to be like this. And you ended up being literally now granted that's I think by alphabetical order, but you were boat 51. You tied. If one more person would have jumped in or some points would have changed a little bit different and it been 745, you guys were out. Koya just barely missed it. Chris White, Nolan, Roberson, Taylor Ray, some people that tried to get in. Kind of give me a rundown of what your thoughts are on the points, how it played out. You like it, don't like it. And again, the goal is that it's not, I know some people joke, like, I don't know what some of the sayings were. If you watch a Twisted Cat live, you're invited. But no, you got to be a good angler. Our goal, or my goal, is when I built this, the way the platform is the best of the best. Not like a participation, showing up and then you're invited. And you guys had some good finishes, especially with the start of Bama Blues. 194 first tournament.
Yeah, Bama Blues we got 7th in, and we missed a lot of tournaments, I believe, after that. And there was some that we were hoping to make and didn't end up making it. And then almost last minute, we said, we're going to try. We're going to really try. And you told me it's going to be difficult. You said it's to come in this late and make it. It's going to be hard. And with Savannah being our 4th tournament, we discussed Keystone, even though it was a 9-hour drive for us. We was really hoping if all we could have done was got better than 22nd place, every place better would have gave us an extra point. And we did not really, we weren't too sure that the 744 was going to hold to keep us in that top 50. And it was Keystone was frustrating. Keystone, we knew we went early. We were there for a good 6 days. We knew the cold front was coming in. We knew the rain, the wind, everything. We thought we had a great plan to deal with all of that. Savannah honestly wasn't, we had a great plan for Savannah pre-fishing. From day to day, things change, or just, the luck of the fish bite, people doing the exact same thing as us all around us. And the thing that we was hoping for at Savannah, just that, getting that lucky 30-pounder or so, just to push us up a little bit and give us a little better score.
Because what place did you get in Savannah?
Honestly, I don't. That might have been the 22nd place or whatever that we had to beat. If we would have done better than that.
Because you got a 7th place, 194. You got 189 at New Madrid. That was huge. That was big. The 189 at New Madrid. So that's 11th place.
Maybe.
Well,
yeah.
So this just shows you that your worst finish was 178, and you really needed to get rid of that. But that barely got you in, and you had a top 10 finish, a 12th place, 11th or 12th, a 16th. I mean, that's what's, and I think next year, granted, that's 13 tournaments that you can choose from. Your best 4. You have 4 chances to do good at 13 total events. And each, if you go back the last 3 years, it changes every year. I mean, that's
I can imagine
right now.
What?
I don't know a lot about Google, but look at this. What is this up here? Anonymous wombat and anonymous dragon. Does that mean that they're looking at it right now?
I don't know.
I don't either. Interesting.
Maybe that's who's on your browser extensions or something. I don't know what that is. That's not a browser though. That's your Excel or something.
I think it just popped up like people are in there looking at it or something.
Oh yeah, maybe
it's technically a live document.
Yeah,
so
it could automatically give them titles, names, or whatever.
So we talked a little bit about dinner, and that's others looking at the dock. It creates random names for those not signed in. That's what Tom said. Weird. So we at dinner, anonymous Lemurs. Yeah, that definitely does that. At dinner, we had some people talking about, what if next year, we want to get in and it's tough to get in. What if next year, your first, second, and third place that are maybe all like, let's say Craig, Eddie, and John are going to fish together and they are going to be one boat. Then why not move it down where, then a second boat? Well, it's not like that. I mean, the goal is it's 50 anglers. And the reason we do 50 anglers is because not every angler stays together. Let's say that, if me and you are a team and next weekend we're supposed to go to Alton and I can't because I'm throwing my 40th birthday party and I can't miss that, right? So you're like, well, I don't care about your 40th birthday. I'm going to a Twisted Cat tournament, and you take whoever, Steve Henderson, which is probably not a great choice, but you pick Steve to go to Alton and you guys flunk out. Now, or maybe you do good and you get more points than me, but it's not really fair if I get points because I wasn't there. So that's kind of how we do that, why we do that. Now, there are a few, obviously, Maggie and Jason stay together. Kevin and John always fish together, but some people split up, and it's just hard to do teams. So far, it's worked out. The goal is that it's very tough to make, but if you do make it, it's fun. We're going to have an awesome championship today, and it's a no entry fee championship. So we're at 25,000 plus, which is a lot of money. I think for this past tournament, we were like at 11,500 for a 36 boat tournament. So it's a lot of money. It's a cool deal. And whoever is the angler of the year, I'm going to announce some more stuff tomorrow on money and stuff, but the 2026 Angler of the Year is getting this bad boy. And this, like I said, I was always thinking like belts are like kind of stupid or whatever. But if you see this belt in person and hold it, this thing is heavy, like super heavy. You can hang it on the wall. I'm going to probably walk around with it on for a while. But the reason that we built the points race and everything like we did is we looked at it as anglers ourselves, Liz and I, with some other people, of what it means like to be the best of the best. I seen somebody made a post the other day. They said, who are the top anglers on the Mississippi River or whatever. And I seen like names they put, but here's my eyes. What I'm thinking is right now in the sport, where do you look? Who is the best? Who is the best angler in catfishing? We don't really have a way to really track that. I think what we're doing with Twisted Cat, the points race, traveling, from Oklahoma to Alabama to Tennessee to Texas to Louisiana, Iowa. I think that's right now what we have to show you the best of the best. It's not easy, just like you guys barely squeezed in to the top 50. So we're gonna, like we talked this weekend about doing some angler profiles to kind of showcase like what money they've won, boats they've won, events they've won. But what's your thoughts? You know, you've been in this sport longer than I have. I remember you used to listen to you, old Lyle the crocodile.
When we were on the Catfish Weekly, yeah. So
Yeah.
we started that. But yeah, I think that
That's been Catfish Weekly, but go ahead. Not nothing. Go ahead.
I would agree with you. To me, you know, you have your guys that are very good on certain stretches of water. You know, they're going to go anywhere on this stretch, and they're going to be placing in 90% of the tournaments or whatever. But you know, those guys are great at that, and I don't discredit them or anything. But like you said, who do I look at as being some of the best catfish anglers? And to me, it's the guys that travel and really get outside of their comfort zone and are figuring things out, you know, nationwide. You know, that's, to me, I'm personally, that's what I've always wanted to be. It was not always easy to do. It's expensive. It's hard. It's demanding of time, energy, money, a lot of things, patience.
It's humbling getting your teeth kicked in at a tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, every tournament is tough because you do have some of that local aspect that you got to fish against. You got to beat some of the locals. Now, the locals always don't do well. I think a lot of people, that's a misconception that, well, I can't go fish and travel to Keystone because the locals will beat me. I mean, look at what two teams did in the top 10 that had never even been on the water before.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the anglers that got in the top 50 because they can think outside the box and do well. And I think that kind of shows. So it's tough. Like, I don't know. I kind of get annoyed when I see like who's the best here or whatever. Well, anybody can be good in a 2-hour stretch, but who's good when they travel? That's what I want to know. And there's a reason Craig Norris has 793 points. I mean, that dude is on fire.
And you're doing channel cat tournaments, blue tournaments, you know.
Yeah, I don't want
different rivers, lakes.
Channel cat and can't catch blues. You're not going to make. I mean, I'm looking for people that can do it all: lakes, channel cats, river, everything, blue cats, flatheads. You know, different times of year, water. I mean, look at what we just dealt with on this last event. I mean, the weather was terrible. You know. So JT said locals 1 and 2 in Keystone. How has that been in the past, though, JT? Was it first and second last time? Actually, last 2 times we've been there.
What I hear, if that Frank was there, he would win just about any time. He's pretty tough.
Frank is really good. And I mean, the Murphys are good in Oklahoma. I mean, that ain't like they're any slouches.
Yeah, they're good anywhere around there.
They're going to collect the check no matter where they go. It's probably, for JT's sake, a good thing they don't travel much. So Sean says, I think brothers are some of the best catfish fishermen right now. So that's I personally want to see. I would love to see how the fountains play out with Twisted Cat. What is your thoughts on that? I mean, fountains they've been taking King Cat by storm.
Yeah, I've fished King Cat. I've fished both trails. I agree. I think I'm not taking anything away from King Cat or the anglers fishing that, but I think that Twisted Cat is a step up in competition for sure. I think that the fountains to truly grow in this sport, they need to go fish that, and they need to compete at that level. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, my goal next year, we're going to probably have, like I keep saying, less tournaments. And I'm looking, if you see me keep looking this way, it's because I have a 27-inch screen on the points, which shows all the tournaments. And I'm not really sure how we did it all, but we did. 13. That's just Twisted Cat events. And I'm looking at several of them that I know. I mean, Fort Smith, Arkansas, not happening. Council Bluffs, Iowa, not happening. Alton Classic is taking over the Alton Spring Tournament. So that's 3 tournaments that are for sure getting dropped just right there. It's going to look a lot different. There's going to be some stuff moved around. Perryville, we're not sure on a date. Burlington, not sure on a date. We're not sure on Fort Madison. Pekin, Illinois is not happening, I don't think. But there's some other things that are changes, so we'll kind of see how that all plays out. But the goal is that next year is even tougher, and I think getting to that point where I hate to use the word national because could we go to the East Coast? Yes, I mean they're ready. We've got places that we could put an event on, but that's to get that done is tough. And I think right now we've got people that are traveling from. I think we had 27 states. I'd have to look back. 27 states that fished Twisted Cat this year. That's not including Bama Blues. Just without that tournament, 27 states. So Liz is going to try to do all the math on that. I like kind of knowing like where people come from, traveled miles and all that stuff. But and I don't want to take anything away from anybody. I just think that right now when it comes to a points race or being the best of the best, I think this is what we've got.
I think that your points and what you did, and I'm just going to tell you that, going back to Keystone, at the end of that, we everybody knew you were going to go live and you were going to do the points that night. And with how we did, we were the last one. And I'll just tell everybody, even though it's embarrassing, we had 5 fish for less than 5 pounds. So we came in last of the weighing boats, and I think it was like 26th place. And like you said, when you go, we've never been there. We were there for a week. We had a great game plan. It didn't work out, and as frustrating as that is, you have to just move on. You have to learn from it, and just look forward to the next one. But we were pretty deflated. We thought for sure we weren't going to make it in the top 50. And even though me and Alex are friends, there's no special treatment given. There's no extra points here or there. So, if I wouldn't have got in, it would have been heartbreaking because we did decide, I think, after like the second or third tournament, we're going to try everything we can to try to get into that championship and do it. But we were sick to our stomach after dinner, going home, thinking about you being on the live and whether we made it or not, getting to the Airbnb, and literally I puked. I mean, that's how torn up I was.
I was sick for you. I thought there's no. We were eating dinner. I thought you guys are not going to make it. There's no way. And then when we put the points on, there was people that popped up that I didn't realize that were going up like they did. And I was expecting Sneed to go up. I was expecting Chris White to get over 745. And then you take like David Roberson, David and Taylor Ray split up. And they split up because they wanted to try to get those extra points. And that didn't work. They didn't get in. So, I mean, there was 4 or 5. Cole Thompson didn't have a good weigh-in. There was 4 or 5 boats that had a bad day that should have, with a decent day, would have jumped over that 744. And
when you think of all those possibilities of things that could have happened this way and that way, those 2 guys that split up to give themselves a better shot, maybe they stuck together, this would have happened. But then again, maybe this other team catching 2 more pounds of fish pushed them up another point, pushing another person down, us, whoever. And I mean, it was just. I mean, to me, when it's hard to get in, it's more rewarding. It truly is. I'm old school in that way. I don't want things easy. As much as I'd love to be there, I want to feel like we earned it. No,
yeah.
And I know 100%. next year being less tournaments, even though we're going to be at all of them, it's going to be harder. So if we make it next year, I'll be even more proud of us because like you, I believe it's going to be that much more challenging.
But that's the goal. I want it to get to that point where it's like, I mean, it's already to the point where if you do well, it's like you got to be proud. I mean, it's the plaques, the belts, the trophies. You know what I mean? That hardware will stay on your mantle forever. But the cash spins. But man, there's just something to be said about being in the top, dude. I want to fish it so bad to see like where I can end up at.
Greg Holgrave with what he said,
Huh?
we knew there was people that had more weight than us that probably just didn't weigh in. And I thank you guys because you'd have just pushed us even further down and made us feel even worse. But yeah, we knew it was a tough tournament, and it just all we can say is that it looked like it was a tougher bite for a lot of people. The fish that they normally catch is not what was caught at that tournament. So, I mean, it helps ease the pain a little bit, but like I said before, just you can't let them get you down too much. You really just got to pick up and learn from it and just try to do better the next time.
Do you think this is a good thing that Nate said? I have definitely made some of the greatest people following this trail happy to call them friends and even consider some family. A big thing too that's helped me, which I think I fast track as an angler because I get to put these events on. I get to talk to everybody. It's what I do now. I mean, and I get to learn what works, what doesn't, and I get to say, hey, well, I know Fudd got fourth. He was fishing deep. It was this cold front that came in. The water was going up. I can learn that. But also as you and as an angler, I guarantee that you took some things from Keystone that maybe you can learn for Savannah or Decatur or Louisiana, because you just learned, maybe it was a technique of, how to rig or a Livingston lure technique or something. That's what's unique, is if you pay attention, you can bring something from every tournament to the next one. Do you think that helps, being able to travel and fish these? Like I said, everybody can be good on Wheeler Lake if that's your backyard and you fish all the time. But if you can go to Keystone and then Burlington, Iowa, and then Southern Louisiana, like that is where you shine.
You definitely you can, but the big thing is to know that every body of water is different, and while the water temperature might be the same, while the weather might be the same, it doesn't mean the fish are going to be patterned the same at this lake as they are in this river or this other lake, in a different state. There's just so many things that go into what the fish are doing. And as everybody, you've probably heard it a billion times, your time on the water is just your ability to adapt, and your time on the water are two of the biggest assets for learning, things in catfishing. And I would say a lot of smart people say to keep a diary or a log of all the things that you're doing. And especially, I'm getting up closer to 50 years old, and I have a really bad memory. And so the things that I forget is probably getting larger and larger. So having a log to go back to, just to, actually there's an app. I think it's what is that called? Tournament.
Yeah, there is an app, and I also there used to be a thing called Angler, like ANGLR. I had it laying around somewhere. And you could put it on your hat. So if you caught a fish, you click it, and it sends something to your app, and then it records like weather, water levels, water temp, air temp, barometric pressure, all that stuff. I don't know if that company's
Easy Coaling.
Easy Coaling.
Yeah, there's didn't even put anything in there. Our fish were so small I didn't bother with it for Keystone. But I can go on this app. I can set it up for each tournament to tell you the water temperature, the conditions of the weather, your bag, your culling bag with your colors and everything. Even I threw in 7 fish or 6 fish just for the extra fish. But you can actually, there's notes, you can put in notes. So if there's something you feel like you learned while you were there, and it will save all that. So it's an app that I've used for a long time. Actually, I think I got Doc Lang using it. I told him about it, and he uses it. But that app is probably for the future generations of writing in a log in a logbook or anything like that. That app probably, it's free, I believe. It's a free app. But that would work well for trying to track some of the places you've been and things you've done, and being able to go back and, let's just say we're at Keystone next year and it's around the same time, and for whatever reason, the same sort of conditions are coming up. I can say, we did this and it didn't work out so hot. So maybe don't do that.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, it's those things. But I mean, fishing tournaments, traveling, you just can learn so much quickly. Because if you go out, like I said, if you fished Keystone and had a bad time, kind of like you did, I'm not calling you out, but if you're by yourself, you thought, man, this fishing just sucks here. But then you talk to some of the other teams, they had a blast. I mean, 5th place, caught over 20 fish, first time on the water, and they figured something out. What did they figure out? I didn't get too deep with them on that. Maybe some other people got to talk to them, but it's pretty interesting. A team from Illinois, 2 teams from Illinois coming over there, never been on that lake. I don't even think one of them's been in the state of Oklahoma in his life. And, 2 in the top 5. That's nuts.
And oddly enough, I actually lived in Oklahoma, not far from where we were at when I was younger, Sky took. And I lived in Oklahoma City and Tulsa, actually. So I was pretty close to that area, but I was much younger then. Been a long time since I've been back that way.
So you must not have catfished very much then.
Well, I was, like I said, I was probably under 8 years old at the time, But you haven't gone to Indiana yet. I can't wait till one day you have a tournament somewhere in Indiana, and like on the upper part of the state, middle part of the state, not the Ohio River area, but
all right,
hopefully, hopefully we get that on there, and then I can come and have a good showing.
Now JT can look. I got a pin on Indiana. JT, you see where it's at? He studies that map more than anybody. Last year was really messed up. I don't even know what that is. Yeah, I gotta update that a little bit. I got some of the Atlantic Ocean too. So we talked about the world record or possible world record fish. We talked about points, which points, like I said, points are on the website. I'll make a post tonight. What else we got to talk about? The championship. So you made it. We talked about how to get in. Next year is going to be tougher to get in.
Yeah, I've got to go back and watch your video now, because now it actually does pertain to me. I know I watched it, but I might not have had all the attention focused to it on, when you were there with the tourism lady and talking about everything to do with it. And so I got to go back and rewatch that, start studying some maps, and, kind of just, we'll be there a week. I know we'll probably go there Sunday before and be there the whole week, and basically really just try to get out there and have fun. I think if it's anything like Norco, there's a lot to go scout and see and figure out, and even just go have fun. Like if we're going to be there for a week, regardless of what the outcome is, I want us to go and just have a great time and make the trip be memorable and enjoyable, and get to see everybody and know that, we made it by the skin of our teeth, and hopefully, hopefully the stars align and we get out there and put a good bag together for 2 days, and come in strong at the end.
I hope that nobody gets too excited over the reds, and if you get into bull reds, you're going to waste an entire day catching bull reds. But you can catch bull reds and blue cats.
Yeah.
And if you want some insight, don't watch any of my personal Facebook reels.
Sure, you have
Liz
still leaders on.
Steel leaders, but like I said, we went down there. Now, granted, every time I have fished it 4 times, and every single time is completely different. Every single time. It's a tidal body of water, Chapelai River chain. We talked to some anglers this week. They said, well, can we go to the Mississippi River? We can go out the Gulf and around. And I'm thinking, yeah, I mean, go where you want, but there's no reason to go far. And Liz got her, so she wants to break that this year down there. So we're going down in 2 weeks. Well, actually, less than 2 weeks. We're going down in about a week. Or starting the journey down there. Liz is flying down next Wednesday. She hates to fly, but that's about the only way we can get her down there. So she's going to fly down, and we're going to have to. We probably won't even get to go on the water, but we'll be down there 2 weeks after that to go for a week of just fun fishing while she's off school, and then we'll go down there for Christmas. We got some friends coming. I think Benji and Lindsay Brown are going to come from the Carolinas for Thanksgiving. So if anybody's wanting to join us, Liz and I will be down there Thanksgiving week, and we'll eat probably turkey. And this is no joke. They got like a buffet place there that's open up Thanksgiving that Thursday, and they've got awesome buffet. I know that you're smiling because I know you love the buffets. But it's fun. So if you want to come down, anybody, we're going to just fish, have fun, hang out, and we're excited to do that. And this Saturday, if you want to make a trip to Warsaw, Illinois, we're throwing together a kind of impromptu 40th birthday bash for me, and just kind of like a little fall party. So the Twisted Cat family, just whoever wants to come hang out. I know you're not going to come all the way from Alabama, even though that I would do that for you. I would do it for you, Chris.
Pick me up from the airport.
Flying to Quincy, I'll pick you up. Yeah, that's this Saturday. We're going to hang out Saturday afternoon down at across the road. We'll have a big bonfire at the shed. What else we got to talk about?
Yeah, say Jeff Helm talked about, and somebody else talked about the camaraderie, with Twisted Cat and everything. And quite honestly, I'm a competitive person, but more so, I'm in it competing with myself just to be learning more, to be better at it. But I truly enjoy just being on the water, being in these new areas, places that I've not been too often, or when you go to a different direction on a body of water, you've only been one direction, and you get to see new things, and you get to go, like Alex he'll have a dinner or something, and we'll go out, and some other anglers will show up, and you just get to hang out and visit with people. And when people are friendly and you get to do all this, and that's more so really what I enjoy of tournament catfishing. It's not necessarily the competition, because I do want to win, and I want to figure out what I did wrong when I did things wrong, and I want to become better at adapting faster, figuring patterns out, all the things that make people good or great catfishermen. That's my goal. But yeah, the people, the camaraderie, hanging out, being new places, That's all more important.
Yeah. So it's fun. I'm like I said, I even like the, when we go down there for Thanksgiving, I know there'll be a lot of some $20 side bets and some signed bills. And you and Henderson finally got one from me. I don't plan on you boys ever getting another one from me. So hopefully you hang them high.
See. We will see.
So where would you like to see, and people in the chat, where would you like to see Twisted Cat go next year? And to reply to Randy Hood, did I hear you right? No tournaments at Fort Smith. So no, there will not be a Twisted Cat in Fort Smith, Arkansas next year.
So where would I like to see Twisted Cat go?
Where would you like to be?
I know that.
And if you're in the chat, give us some answers. I know you're going to say this lake in Indiana,
No. We just talked about, the Missouri. You talked about Council Bluffs. I missed that tournament this year. That's further up the Missouri. The only place on the Missouri that I've been to was your Columbia Bottoms, and so if there's, I guess, anywhere between there and Council Bluffs, or even Council Bluffs again, hopefully somewhere on the Missouri would be a good place. I'd like to see you go. You're coming to my back door here in Alabama on Wheeler for Bama Blues. I know that you're going to Morgan City for your championship. Norco or somewhere around Morgan City, or even Morgan City, if I don't know if that's going to be your chosen destination for most of your championships, or if maybe that could end up just making the trail as a points tournament. I don't know. But that's actually I think that's less of a drive than the Oklahoma tournament was. So Morgan City would be.
I think here's how that's going to work out. It's going to be tough because, that we try to keep the season. Now I'm looking at the calendar. There's a giant calendar. I'm like kind of right there. That kind of shows you. There's a giant calendar I have each month. So, we pushed it to where we're starting January 3rd in Decatur, Alabama. That is a done deal, booked. January 31st is in Garland, Texas on Lake Ray Hubbard. February, we have nothing right now. March, we're looking at possibly a March 7th, February 28th, March 7th, March 14th, something like that for the Alton Classic. Probably nothing in April. Not 100% sure on May. We're just really not a lot. The problem is, like, Morgan City is, I think, even though one of those tournaments where the summers are miserable down there. Like I said, I was there at the end of July and it was like 94-degree water temp, brutal, just brutal. But I don't know how to put Morgan City on them without it being like an early spring or a February or something like that. So I kind of think that we'll see Morgan City in 2027, which sucks. I will not lie. But we're also looking at some other avenues down south, can't say where, that are unique. Because to me, I guess, and I've not fished the Norco tournament that King Cat's held. I don't know where they do their weigh-in. I don't know how they get their fish back or any of that stuff. But like Norco doesn't really excite me for a tournament because is it really competition? Like it's just who gets lucky to go. I mean, I've never went somewhere where it's so easy to catch fish. Like you could throw a tennis shoe and catch a catfish. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's enticing. I mean, why make it that a tournament? I don't know. Something more like a Morgan City that's unique where you can go drag baits and shallow flats, or you can go fish the river, the tides and stuff like that. Definitely looking at some stuff in Texas. But yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I hate for now. I mean, having this championship, and we got to see how it goes, which is still not until, I'm trying to get 2 or 3 more tournaments locked in here pretty quick.
I would say maybe a Mendota. I don't know if that's
so. And again, if you follow us on Twisted Cat very much, or even my personal page, you see like there for a couple days. I was traveling. I think I was in, I don't even know. I've already forgot where I went, Tennessee or something. I went to Savannah and then Mississippi, and then literally came home, and then we left at midnight to drive to Mendota, and didn't really hit it right, and just weren't really prepared for what it was. And it was still a kind of a busy Saturday on the lake. Caught one fish for 17 pounds. So I think Mendota is also one of those where you got to be like, we don't want to go to a body of water at a wrong time. You know what I mean? Helena is definitely on the list. Will it make it for 26? I don't know. You know, where do you put Helena? It's like a puzzle. So we get all these places that want to have an event. They've been calling us. They love, like, they want to host. Helena's one of those. It's just, where do you put it? Like, Helena did not make the 2025 schedule because we couldn't figure a place to put it. You know, so New Madrid moved with their fall festival. So I mean, I know it sounds easy, and I have people blowing me up like, hey, I want to put on my tournaments. I'm trying to get my work schedule, you know, vacations. And I just don't have the answer, because it's just putting the pieces together. But, you know, that's why I need some. I mean, I hear obviously a ton of Missouri River. I've seen there's another tournament trail starting. So the other thing is, I don't want to step on local tournament trails, which is sometimes very hard to do. You know, and there's just other things and obligations that we're also doing besides just Twisted Cat. So
I know going east is a little hard for you. Plus, you're, like you said, you're not wanting to step on toes and everything. You know, it'd be, if it ever there was a point to come east, you know, I'd like to see the James River. I'd like to see.
James is literally, I did a tourism trip, and they are 110% in. She called me again last week, and I just, you know, it's like when do you go to the James, and how? You know what I mean? I think that I have just absolutely beat people up this year. I know I beat my staff up. I mean, 13
This
tournaments
year.
is really at the level that we're doing the tournaments is just crazy. And then just in the last, you know, we did three tournaments in 4 weeks. That's wild. You were at 2 of them. So I don't know that anybody made all 3. If you made all 3, I'm proud of you. If you made Alton, Savannah, and Keystone, I don't think anybody did. Actually,
No, we did.
Oh, you
We
did.
did.
You're probably the only team.
Maybe, I don't know. We did. Alton, Savannah,
So,
and Keystone,
and New Madrid.
New Madrid, and then
You
Bam,
fished
like I said,
4. Yeah.
that's, you know, the Bama Blues, and then we missed a ton and decided very late to try to really make the best effort we could.
Yeah. So that's kind of how that stuff's looking, is just how it plays out. So as you see, and another way to really look is the second that we get everything finalized for these tournaments, they go straight to the Facebook and the website, and it'll show up. I had a couple people that tried to register for the January 31st Garland, Texas tournament, and it's just not, the link is not up yet, just because we're staying with that $300 entry. None of that will change. There is a few other rules that will change if anybody has been kind of looking. Some people are smart, and they kind of peek on some rules for 2026 that I've slowly changed. You know, one change that we are for sure doing is no culling of fish throughout the day. So what that means is, if you're fishing a channel cat tournament and it's a 5 fish limit, you are only allowed to have 5 fish in your boat. There's just too many times, myself included, that are out and got 10 fish or 9 fish or whatever. And especially in the blue cat tournaments, where, you know, we've learned that too many blues, or if you got 150 pounds and you throw another 40 in there, you know, it depletes the oxygen very fast. So we want to, you know, definitely take care of the fish. That's kind of one step to help. You know, another thing that we learned, somebody made a kind of a crappy comment on the live, but they said, well, the live wells are fine at Keystone because you're in the water. Well, unfortunately, they weren't fine, because 3 of them were under 3. And again, it goes back to anglers taking care of their fish. So, these fish are getting hauled from my backyard 3 states away from here and doing just fine. There should be zero reason to put them in a live well and trailer them to a tournament and take care of them. So, we as anglers got to get better at that, number one. And we're all learning on, different ways to do that. But, there's definitely no reason in a lake when you never even get out of the water that your live well's not good. 3 boats didn't even run oxygen and had over 9 just because they were taking care of their fish.
Yeah, you had somebody at like 17 or somewhere like that, 14.
Well, that was because they were running oxygen, and I actually put it around. The only way I could get it in their boat without jumping in their boat, it just kind of landed close to their oxygenator, or their stone. But the 3 boats I checked, and then there were 3 boats that were under 3, which is terrible. I mean, that means your fish are going to die. So, but you could tell the difference between the 3 boats. Now, like I said, one was Craig Norris, one was Jason Moore. I can't remember the third one. Their live wells were clean. Craig Norris's live well, I mean, he plugs all his holes just to get even more water in there. Water was coming out of his live well, and he was running his bilge pump. I don't recommend that because you got to be on your toes so you don't overflow your boat. But the more water you can get, recirculated in there, the better your fish are. And you can see the fish that they pull out, good, healthy fish.
Next year, if you have a 5-fish tournament, you can't have an extra fish in your live well?
No. Nope. I mean, as we want to take better care of fish, we've got to, step up.
I'm okay with that.
Well, now hold on. This is kind of a joke. Are you okay with that? Because very rarely do you have more than the limit.
No. I just
I'm just kidding. I love you, dude. I'm just messing with you.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you. No, honestly, even at Keystone, we caught 6 or 7 fish, and even if we would have kept the other 2, I mean, we would have had less than 6 pounds with whatever else we had. Oh, it was yeah, that was fun. But no, that's just in the boat. Me personally, as soon as I put the first fish in there, I have the recirc pump on and going. I have fresh water. Everything's on timers. It's on. And I generally have no problems losing fish or anything. So I don't ever have an extra fish. But I know there's a lot of people, that they've just always done that. They've had it just in case something happens. So that's an interesting change. I didn't know that you were doing that. Me and you talked about, and heck, me and Steve Henderson actually even talked about the takeoffs before first light. We were going to talk about that this evening a little bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's obviously, I've talked about that with John Jameson a little bit a couple days ago. I mean, every tournament's different. That's a long, that's almost a podcast in itself. I mean, you have like a Mega Bucks where it's a 3 a.m. takeoff. But it's not trailering. Then you have, like Memphis MRM where it's 4 o'clock, but then you trailer and you're an hour and a half away. So, I mean, at what point do you set a limit or you can't go, really, we have never put a bounty unless, obviously like Savannah's got a bounty just because you can't fish Alabama waters.
Boundary, you mean?
A boundary, yes. So you can't put, I mean, I don't, do you put boundaries on how far somebody can go? I think that when you back off that 2 or 3 hour before fishing time, that kind of helps eliminate that. I'm one to try. I mean, I'm not scared to travel either. I think at MRM, I went 130 miles one way. And that's plus that being in Helena going 130 miles. So, I mean, I'm technically, if I'm fishing against Nooner Hall that's fishing north, I mean, I don't even, gosh, how many miles? We're 400 miles away on river miles fishing against each other. So, that's a talk in itself. Like, is that okay? Do we want to hold people closer? I mean, it's a tough call. I really liked MRM when everybody left out of Memphis, and if you were going to make a run, then that was on you. You know what I mean? But if you're putting in kind of like Perryville, I guess, in a way, which we don't really offer a lot of ramps, but if we extended that because of water levels, people could be fishing hundreds of miles away from each other. So like
me personally, yeah, I don't think you need a boundary. I think if you did the safe light takeoff, and maybe even extending, coming back in fishing time.
You got to think about it. So, but that's so you extend the fishing time coming back, then that doesn't really change anything.
No. Well, not. I'm just saying, like, if let's just say you normally take off your tournaments at 7:00. And it's not getting really safe daylight till 7:30, and you normally come back at 3:30, then we're talking leaving at 7:30, coming back at 3:30 or 4:00 or whatever. I mean, just making it so whatever time it is that safe light that you take off, that you still get the 8 hours of fishing, whatever it is, and then whatever people can go in that time, that's on them to go. That's going to limit them from traveling super far. But on the other hand, the reason being, and a lot, what Steve Henderson and myself and me and Terry, we're old, not necessarily Steve Henderson, but, I don't have great vision. I've lost. He's not, he's up, he's right there with us, or with me anyway. But, I've lost like 40% of my vision. So, especially night blindness, I can't even back the trailer down the ramp. I am so blind at night that, and in rain and other things, that we even have the Bodai 360, which is the night vision, and it's, it helps, but it also doesn't. So there is no running for us in nighttime hours. So it does nothing for us. And for me and for many others, it isn't a matter of if, it's a matter of when somebody's going to get hurt running at night in one of these tournaments. So, it's I understand that there's positives.
Are you against night tournaments?
No, I mean, I'm not. Here the night tournaments are much different. I know, right? Because I come from Indiana, where our night tournaments are 13-hour, 7 p.m. to 8 a.m.
So then, are you not? So when you fish a night tournament in Indiana, you're saying that you go to a spot and you don't leave that spot until safe light?
Absolutely not. But I also it don't mean that I have to go like 40 mile an hour down the river or lake either. I don't need to worry about going super fast or trying to make this 100-mile run. And, even here, the night tournaments here are much different. They're 7:30 at night till like 2:30 in the morning or something. And, so you're taking off at daylight hours generally, and you're coming back at night, but you can start coming back whenever. And most of the time it's not very, these areas aren't super far. And, as far as having a night tournament, you don't have any night tournaments. So
I hate night tournaments. I mean, I don't mind fishing them, but putting one on, I mean, turns into a 3-day tournament by the time you start, and it's just a lot.
Yeah. But no, I mean, it's just something that, definitely I wish personally that tournament directors would start to really put more consideration into and really think about, the safety, I guess, the safety aspect of it. And, very well, it doesn't matter if you have radar, if you have sonar or whatever, you have the Bodai 360. There's stuff that can be right under the water. There's just so many things that can go wrong at night. It's amazing that worse stuff hasn't happened yet, really.
Yeah, and I will be the first to tell you that, I mean, I have some of my worst almost bad accidents have been in the middle of the day, just on a lake. I'm driving down the lake, and another tournament boat is just looking at their graph and just cuts right dead in front of me.
And I mean that I'm sure that happens at night too, and you know things where your reaction time, you know, your reaction time in the night is dwindled down even worse. If that were to happen, you didn't see them, and you know.
I like what you're saying. Let's just let's be hypothetical on this. So let's just talk Bama Blues. So Bama Blues is a 6 a.m. takeoff time. So how we're doing it is obviously we're going to have 4 designated places to park. Let's just initially say 4 lots. So at 6 a.m. Group A, we'll start one at a time. You know, boats 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. At 6, if they're going to put in at Ingalls, they can put in. If they're trailering, they can go ahead and leave, and they can put in any public ramp on Wheeler Lake. So would it be best to wait to do that at safe light? I'm kind of curious what daylight is.
I'm gonna say during that time of year. I'm not sure when. We're getting ready to switch over for daylight savings time. I think Lisa said Sunday we switch over.
Really? Tom, gosh dang it. He always beats me to it.
55, Saturday morning, January 3rd, 2026, sunrise in Decatur, Alabama.
I'm just seeing if my times are anything like his, because I never can figure it out. So that's 2025. I'm just going on his because
Sunset 450. That don't seem right.
So 6:55 a.m. January 3rd is sunrise. So do you start at 6:55? That first live well check, or the boats can leave?
I mean, if you were going to do it and you were going to have it so that you know the end of the time was extended, I guess, and it could be all safe light.
Well, what? Then, so yeah. Then when does fishing start?
What do you mean? As far as if they're trailering somewhere, you could allow that to happen 30 minutes before the safe daylight, and just and kind of go off of, you know, wherever they're going. By the time they get to where they're going and put their boat in.
So then at that point, why not do a shotgun takeoff with everybody at daylight?
Well, I mean, ideally, if you were doing this,
do you think that's safer? Because when I did shotgun takeoff, when I did 70 boats out of Cape Girardeau, one at a time, people went crazy. They said it's the most dangerous thing they've ever done.
What, shotgun takeoff? Yeah, I mean, you still could have waves taking off at
I'll tell you what, when you leave Helena with 30 other boats at 4 in the morning, I love it. I mean, it's sketchy. You know what I mean? Because you got to be watching out for boats behind you. The boats in front of you, do they have their lights on? So I mean, that is a tough
half hour before sunrise.
Half hour before sunrise. So then let's Tom, if you got that app, see Craig Norris says shotgun takes off are dangerous. So everybody kind of has a different mindset on what's dangerous and what's not. Is if you have 180 boats like Josh Vanover's saying, or if you have 60 boats. Is the Sea Arc tournament takeoff dangerous, or would it be better to let people go in the dark? And I've already talked to Lisa about doing later weigh-ins, and I kind of like that. So I'm not. So you take like Craig Norris says shotgun takeoffs are dangerous. So is a shotgun takeoff more dangerous than just people putting in one at a time and driving in pitch black? Like for megabucks at 3 a.m.
So I think if you're going the lesser of two evils, I think the shotgun takeoff is lesser of the two evils.
So David Shipman. So I don't know how many shotgun takeoffs. Well, David's done a lot of shotgun takeoffs.
Oh, he's done. Yeah, he's done a lot of fishing in general.
So
I guess.
again, so you take a shotgun take. When we say if you're wondering what a shotgun takeoff is, we don't literally shoot. Maybe one time I think I did shoot a shotgun. I don't know, but shotgun takeoff doesn't mean boom, everybody goes. It's you like for Twisted Cat, we used to do one at a time, which we do in Fort Madison. It's kind of a cool little setup. All the bass tournaments do it. It's boat one at 7 a.m. Boom, boat one goes. Once they take off, boat two, boat three, boat four. So is that safer or more dangerous than put in at 5 a.m. or like at Megabucks, you put in at 3 a.m. on the lower Mississippi River and you put in fast and then you just rock and roll?
Well, let me ask you this. Why does it have to be shotgun takeoff or safe daylight?
No. It does. I'm asking you what between those two, what's safer?
Or darkness, I guess. Yeah. I mean, it's to me, I don't know. I couldn't tell you 100% one is safer than the other. But in my mind, if I had to pick the lesser of two evils, I'd rather have a shotgun takeoff at safe daylight than people just taking off in pure black darkness. Because, like you said, even in the daylight, there's things that if you've seen it, right underwater, a giant log that at the last minute you've seen it, and you was able to avoid a catastrophe. Whereas had that been dark, you would have never seen it. And that there's just so many different things in the dark that come into play, that whereas in the daylight, even in a shotgun, it's generally going to be a user error that occurs more so than something that you really have way less control over.
So then you got Mac here. Mac says he likes Megabucks, leave several hours before fishing time. Mac, I love it too, boy. I'm fishing it this year. I mean, like I said, and then that goes back. If we're talking what Mac likes, let's go back to this. Then are there boundaries?
Yeah, I mean, let's just say if Mac liked that, and then there was boundaries, would he still like that?
Mac, answer that question. Do you like? What if it was 100 miles down and 100 miles up? Or let's be realistic. 50 miles down, 50 miles up. That's plenty.
Yeah.
That is where we're getting with this sport as it's growing so fast. Is what's the ways to go? I mean, dark, not dark, boundaries, because in Megabucks, you're talking if you leave at 3 a.m., that's 3.5 hours of travel time.
And I've been that guy, and and it's not great to say, but I've been that guy that pure darkness, literally, hammered down, full speed, following a line on my graph. No idea what's in front of me. I'm looking up. I'm looking for lights and stuff, but truly no idea if there's a tree, if there's a buoy. Just going on my line, sticking to my line. I'm playing Cat Master 3000 video game on there and it's done. And like they were talking about Rising Sun. I've been out on the Rising Sun that they're 150, 180 boat tournament when it's putting off in Rising Sun, and there's a Lawrenceburg 100+ boat bass tournament taking off at the same time, and it's just pure fog. And I'm hearing zoom, zoom, and I can tell these boats are flying past me as I'm running upriver, at 55 miles an hour. These boats are running downriver at 75 miles an hour, and I never see them, but they're so close that I know they're within 15 feet of me, but the fog is that thick. And again, how nobody was hit. I mean, it's, if you don't believe in God, I mean, there has to be with how nobody's been hurt or killed, and some of the things that I've done and seen in catfishing in tournaments.
Yeah, and then you flip the script and you go to the bad accident on Smith Lake. No fog, no rain, no rough water.
Doing
no
what
nothing.
I said. Could have been looking
Sun
at the guy
behind
that
you.
was filming or looking at his screen or whatever.
So at that point, do you even take it another level and say, well, you're only allowed to have these many screens?
I mean, at that
we
point,
can do it deep. We can do a
Yeah.
deep dive on safety, because I'm all about safety. I promise you. I mean, I love having radar on a boat. I've been on a boat with radar, and that is very nice. It's people that don't have lights. That's not good. I mean, I've seen several boats not have lights. That doesn't work out well.
As far as there's going to be a point. There's a level of just, human responsibility, and like that bass angler on Smith Lake, absolutely just, negligent in his duties of paying attention and doing the right thing out there. And there's no, avoiding that. There's nothing that any of those guys on the other boat could have done, and only that guy being more attentive to running his boat, and possibly and hopefully, charges, I don't know, murder, manslaughter, whatever they're going to get. The anglers, the tournament directors. I don't know. I know that they're doing stuff in Alabama because of that, that you're going to have your boater's education from either your home state. And if you don't have that, you'll have to have an out-of-state Alabama boater's certification to be on Alabama waters. They're going to start mandating that all tournament directors out of Alabama have proof of the boater's insurance. Every boater has to have their insurance shown and their boater safety course or whatever shown to the director, and that has to be on file. Probably the tournament's insurance policy probably is going to have to be.
I'm not 100% sure that with our insurance policy as it's getting updated and things I've seen, is that I think you're going to see captains next year have to have a captain or a fishing, a boater safety course in your home state, which honestly everybody should have that. I mean, that's important.
Read
so let's go.
Comments.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Joe Bell wanted to talk about. Gosh, it's way up there.
Matt
said, let's have a conversation about live well checks. I don't know what, Joe. Let's talk about that one. And then who else? What were you talking about?
Matt said, he would, even with the boundaries, he would still like the early takeoff.
So, Mac, let's talk about that also. If you want to put in at 3, so what's the point of? I like that, but then again, it's a little. I mean, you have some people put it at 3 in the morning, and you don't fish till 7. What do you do for 4 hours if there's boundaries?
Getting to the spot before somebody else, I guess. That's the only thing I could see.
I mean, yeah, number one, no matter what, when people leave, I mean, this is what I always ask you. If you care about safety yourself too, are you wearing a life jacket? A. B, do you have your kill switch on? And C, do you have the proper lighting?
Proper lighting is actually a big thing that we see a lot of people in tournaments not have, a clearly visible 360 bow light, the good stern, red and green stern lights, just odd things, sometimes nothing at all, sometimes no lights at all. Sitting out there, moving, not moving. I've seen a lot.
So Joe asks, if you're doing a polygraph at the end of the tournament, is it logical to do a live well check? So That's a good question. So the reason we do, which we call it, we should maybe, I think we've kind of started calling it boat checks. We're for several reasons. Number one, as newer anglers are getting involved, we're checking making sure they have an adequate live well. A, B, a lot of these areas that we go, the host cities give a fee to help pay for stuff, logistics, expenses. So if we're having a tournament where there's multiple ramps, the goal is that everybody stays in that host city to help, get tourism dollars. That's another way to make sure they stay to do a live well check or a boat check in that area. We really don't check a lot of live wells anymore because we have a polygraph at almost every tournament. It's more than that. And it's like I said, as things are growing, maybe it's a light check, an oxygen check. We're just, we want to make sure that everybody has their stuff together, and kind of starting at one point. It kind of keeps everybody on the same page. Granted, some of these tournaments, it's always different to be, where you're starting, what the boat ramp situation is and all that. But that is a good question.
Aaron Gerald and Devon says, I think we need a light check at the live well check. And then you check the lights at your live well check. And if there's no lights, there's no fishing.
Yeah. So lights need to be addressed 100%. Those big fancy enclosures block stern lights. So that's against the law. If you have an enclosure, you have to have, your stern light is supposed to be probably on your enclosure. So
top of it. Yeah, ours is.
If it was up to my wife, it would be safe light, speed limits, numbered takeoffs, and boundaries.
I don't know about speed limits, but I could get with her on everything else.
There was a boat in front of us that once they got to their spot, turned their nav lights off, or maybe they had electrical issue, but it was still dangerous. It was definitely dark. Yeah, I mean, listen, I know about 3 people in my area. Now, these are pleasure boats that got killed over the last 15 years, and all 3 of them had 0 lights. They were all ran over from the back. Ran the boat in front of them over.
Again.
So if you see me, I'm going to look like a UFO. And if the DNR says that that's illegal and wants to give me a ticket, so be it. But I'd rather somebody see me than run me over. I definitely ain't turning myself.
I was going to say, I think we had a lot of issues with that in some of the trails in Indiana with people that would go and set up with their turn their lights off and whatnot. And if I'm not mistaken, Indiana DNR pretty much gave us basically if there's boats in motion around them, they're required to turn their lights on. If they did not turn their lights on, like if a DNR boat was traveling the lake or river at night and a boat did not turn their lights on, they technically could give them a ticket for, being in, I guess, unsafe, unlit boat.
Yeah. I mean, and you think of the bass tournaments, some of them boats are running 75. There's a lot of catfish boats that go fast, but we ain't all running 75 plus out there. At 75, that's a whole different ballpark than 50 or 60. But again, like I said, I'm all about being safe, and I want to learn and I want to get ideas, and that's what we do podcasts for, and talk and have those conversations. And we want to take care of fish. We want to have fun. We want to be safe. It's like I said, it's if Twisted Cat does this and maybe George does this, like if we don't all sort of come together with somewhat of the same idea, then I don't know how that it's benefiting everybody. So I think that, the tournament trails, the tournaments work together in some aspect, but then it throws it all out of whack when you have a 12-hour night tournament. Right? Or am I wrong?
Well, if it's not,
but you can't say that, well, hey, let's leave it safe light, but then have a 12-hour night tournament and everybody's flying at night, right?
Control what you can control, Alex. Not what
And
everybody does.
I know. I'm just saying. And if you have a shotgun takeoff on Wheeler Lake or Cape Girardeau, it is a lot different than having a shotgun takeoff out of St. Joe, Missouri, or a smaller body of water that's very skinny. So everything is different. You know what I mean? Cindy White seen a couple boats. Yeah, and have your lights on it. It's tough for me as a tournament director to be out there to babysit. If people have I can't go out and say you got to have your lights on or checking for lights and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess as you guys, as you know, tournament director doing a live well check, I don't imagine that it would take too much more time to check lights. I don't know if that's something for you to seriously consider. You know, just one extra little thing. I know it adds to your already long time of doing things. You know, but you know, there's the other thing
Brian sent that.
that. Oh, was that a boat that went right by him?
Yeah, it's PK. Look at this. He got an old Johnson on that old girl.
He running 75.
He got a old Johnson. He getting lit up too. So, I mean, that's a little sketchy, but I've done it. It is an adrenaline rush, though. You got to admit.
Oh, I mean,
Me and you did Ohio. Me and you did Montezani, Ohio. I couldn't wait for him to yell, and it was hammered down, and you never let off. Did we ever let off once?
I probably not. Like I said, I'm not proud
We didn't
of
let
it.
off
I've
for
done it.
60 miles.
I have done it. But as you get older, you really do truly start to put some other things into perspective, and somebody being seriously hurt or killed is way less important than any catfish tournament.
100%. And that's why, like I said, I moved to Bama Blues to 6 a.m. It was going to be 5, and I think we might have did 5 last year. But, you know, next year we'll see how it goes this year. You know, maybe next year it's 6:55 that we check that first boat and kind of, you know, play that game. It is tough getting everybody in with the crew that I have. You know, I don't have 25 people from the Sea Arc factory helping, you know, put boats in and having, you know, a big takeoff like that. And I had to do that. That was a call that I had to make for the Sea Arc Owners Invitational. It was not a fun call. And I promise you, if you think people weren't pissed at me, you're wrong. You know, and there was fog. And the worst part is it didn't look. You look out at Ingalls Harbor, sun is out, it's beautiful looking, but I got a boat up the river and down the lake, and they can't see in front of their boats. You know, so I'm there having to make a call to people that can see no fog, and people were not impressed with me. I promise, because I can show you some of the text messages. And we kicked the tournament back. I think, gosh, you were there? Was it at 8 o'clock takeoff or 8:30 before I let people go?
What was
The Sea Arc Owners Invitational.
Oh yeah, I was there. I'm remembering it now. It definitely. I know it might have frustrated people, but it didn't frustrate me. Like I said, when you get
I know. But you got to put my shoes on sometimes.
I get it.
You know, I got to think of every aspect of every event. You know, fog 20 miles up the river that I might not. Maybe Bama Blues starts this year. There's fog 20 miles up the river that I don't know about.
I was going to say, yes, it's absolutely a possibility. But again,
you know,
yeah.
You take Savannah, Tennessee. Look at Savannah. You go on the lake. I went up to the lake. It was beautiful, sunny, not a cloud in the sky, no fog. I was running the drone right below the dam. Beautiful. But when you get down around the bend at Savannah, full of fog till 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah, you don't know. I've been on plenty of tournaments where definitely you take off and it's perfectly clear. Everything looks great, and you get going, and 10 miles down the river, 30 miles down the river, whatever it is, you run into the thickest fog, and I've seen it be fog for another 20 miles, and then I've seen it be like fog super thick and then just went away, and then fog again and then went away, and like just weird different things. you can't control all that. I guess all you can do is go by what you're seeing right in front of you. Hopefully, people use their own common sense when they get to that. Even though I didn't, like I said, I'm not saying that I was the smartest and did the right thing all the time.
True. But then again, it flips back to if we don't want shotguns to take off, the way that we've got to do, obviously, catfishing is different than bass. We don't get these really glorious ramps. Even though Ohio, like Josh was talking about Leavenworth and stuff, I mean, there are some really nice ramps on the Ohio River. The Mississippi, unfortunately not. Perryville, Missouri is the perfect example. Let's say that we have 50 boats at Perryville, and I check them at, Tom, what's safe light there at Perryville? That was the question I was going to ask you. Let's just say that safe light is 615, okay? Let's 615 safe light. So at 6, well, let's just say that I check everybody at 5. You go to your ramp, put your boats in, and then at that 615, which I don't know who's going to say it's 615, just probably whoever takes off first. That's what we do it in Helena. At 615, the 27 boats that put in at Chester drop it like it's hot. So now you're back to a shotgun takeoff. So do you draw it back and you say, okay, in Perryville, we're going to, if it's 6:15 a.m. safe light at 6 a.m., 5:43 a.m. Saturday, July 4th. So let's look at this. So this year we did a 5 a.m. I'm not going to say live boat check because I don't want Joe Bell. we're going to say boat check. So thanks, Joe, for kind of bringing that up. So we're going to check boats. It's a 5:43 Saturday sunrise. So I say at 5:30 we check boats. Because if we check them at 5 and wait and say at 5:40 you can take off, we're back to shotgun. So if we check boats at 5:30, then by the time they get there and start putting in one at a time, they can take off and then still have fishing hours at 7. What's your thoughts of that? Almost making every tournament a little bit different. A July tournament is going to be different than a November or a January or a March tournament. Chris, are you frozen or are you just...
No, I'm thinking that, like, especially with your trail and what you do, and knowing that you're an intelligent man, you can experiment with what is going to be, I guess, the best of everything that you could get done. And really, like, even if you adjust something, one part of something, you can say, this is working, this is not working. You know what I mean? Like, you're definitely going to be the person with the number of boats that you have, with the different places that you're going to, and all the different scenarios that come up. For somebody to lead the charge, I guess it's probably going to be you. So,
do you think how we're doing Bama Blues? Do you think that was? Do you kind of get like the point of that? Why we did that? The reason behind that?
Yeah, but just to play sort of devil's
advocate. If people are watching, does people understand that? Because what has happened as Twisted Cat has grown is these morning checks before, and again, Joe brought the point up, is why do a live well check? So Decatur, Alabama is behind it with, they're putting staff helping us do stuff. They're giving the facility for free. They're putting up a stage. They want a return, an ROI on their investment to have Bama Blues there. We bring in a big crew. So that's why we do that start off there. Maybe in 2 years, everybody leaves from there. We already dialed it back into, it's a Wheeler Lake tournament only. You cannot lock down, lock up. You can still trailer and put it in a public ramp, but you got to stay on Wheeler. But the benefit to get people to register early and to kind of help spread people out is to do that 25 boats. So 1 through 25 are going to park in parking lot A, and boat 1, we'll stage the first maybe 6 boats that say that they're going to put their boat in will be backed up, ready to go. And then the rest, everybody will leave it at a certain time. And then at 6:10, the next 25 will go. Like for the Alton Classic, that worked. We talked about that this weekend. You were in the first flight at the Alton Classic, right? So boats 1 through 25 left at 6. At 6:03, we were done. They were gone out of the parking lot. The next group waited 7 minutes, which 7 minutes is a long time when you're waiting to take off. So at 6:10, that next group left. At 6:20, the next group, and then at 6:30. So for Bama Blues, if you are boat 76 through 100, you're sitting there for 30 minutes watching people leave. Your fishing time doesn't change, nothing. You just lose that morning time to travel, which also helps get people to register early. I don't know. I thought a lot on that. You know, the way that we've done it last year worked really good. I'm not going to say really good, but you have people sleeping in line. The line is kind of a disaster. There's nowhere to really park. It was kind of hard to handle, but I think it went really, really well. I think this will go extremely well. So maybe it don't work and we change it, but I mean, what's your thoughts on it then?
Well, I was just gonna say, what's that?
Are you signed up for Bama Blues?
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
number?
we're in the first flight again.
First flight, okay.
23
So what were
maybe.
you gonna say?
Oh, just you know, things to try, you know, things just to play the devil's advocate of it. You know, there's with what you have going on now and what we were just talking about on Safe Light, maybe there's another possibility of, I guess, allowing people to take off if they're going to trailer, with your allowing, you know, trailer into the different ramps on Wheeler. They're allowed to take off and even put in the water, but they're still required to stay right there until safe takeoff. And then at this time they can leave from that spot, you know. And again, like I forget the guy, he said, you know, why do the live well check if you're going to have a polygraph? So the same would apply there. You know, if they're asked in the polygraph, did you take off before safe light, etc.
But but then again, you're back to, well, what if 25 boats take off, balls to the wall at safe light?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
so yes, you lose travel time at Bama Blues. Brian, you know that's my rule, but I still like opinions. Everybody has an opinion. Don't listen to one angler. So Brian owes me $17 just from Friday. And that none of those were his opinions. Those were just questions. He had 17 questions.
Yeah.
So no, yeah, I always like opinions. Everybody's got great opinions. I love them. I've changed a lot of things over the years. I think it helps that I'm a tournament angler at heart, probably more than some of the people that fish my trail. And yes, I can't make everyone happy. As long as Liz is happy, I'm happy. Hopefully she's watching, because I think she just got home. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. There'll be some changes next year. Some of them might be horrible, some of them might be good, but hey, people remember how much. People rode me up and down on Bama Blues. You think, we're at 59. Is that right? 59 boats for Bama Blues.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't. To me, I had, you know, friends that were upset about, you know, the price going up, and I understand where people come from on the different thoughts of what it was or what it should be, but ultimately, to me, this tournament has basically changed hands 3 or 4 times, and it's your tournament, and your vision for what it should be or could be or whatever is completely on you. So the fact that you have a tournament here, and people, you know, they might not have had time to adjust to that price for them, and I understand that, and it sucks.
But the weekend before, Dry Creek is putting on a $300 entry tournament.
Exactly. And there you go.
The weekend before.
And
like I said, we're doing one tournament like that. I think, you know, I've been doing tournaments for next year will be year 12. I keep messing my years up, but I've never, all these other, I mean, Douglas is doing a $1,500 two-man tournament in May. You know, I'm in the tournament business and I haven't upped the price at one event in 11 years. So I think that I'm going to try one tournament. Maybe it's a flop. Maybe 59 boats come and everybody
It's already
leaves
not. Well, I mean, it's already, last year was what, 30,000, 35,000 payout?
So last year we had 105 boats. We probably would have had 125 boats, but we gave a lot of money and entries back for the weather because that big snowstorm that came in. So 105 boats. I always let Liz do the math, but I'll do it right now. So 300 times 105. So it's 31,500 plus a $500 big fish. So the 32,000, I want to say $32,000 payout. Not a bad payout.
We're already almost double.
We're at 59 boats. It's easy math here. That's 59.5 plus
the 1v1. That's $2,000.
Plus that. So
or however many you're going to do, I don't know.
Those are the type of things that, well, whether it sells that or not, it was something that I wanted to do. I thought a lot about it. I lost sleep on it. I had a lot of hate come. A lot of people said good. I mean, I can't wait to go back to those comments, when I announced that. But again, it's not like I'm trying to outprice anybody. I mean, again, we'll see how it goes. I was thinking it will sell out at May. I know it's expensive for some and close to holidays, but we are looking forward to it. We're already in. I like the big payouts from Vanover. So yeah, you're talking, I don't even know what the payout is going to be. It's a big payout, but almost double the payout with half the boats.
Yeah, for every person that you have upset about it, not happy, you have an equal number of people that are happy, and so that's what they don't understand to me is that it might not be what it was 10 years ago when it started. And nobody should have never had the assumption that it would be, is my opinion of it. There's plenty of tournaments out there. There's the Rising Sun, there's MRM, there's plenty of tournaments. There's the tournament, like we said the week before, if they just want to come down here. They're just coming down here to fish, and fish an NACT or whatever that they could do for the lower entry fee. And even the bigger tournaments for the lower entry fee, they're still around. It's not like they can't do that. They just, I guess, had an opinion that this one should stay where they wanted it. And I told you from the get-go that there's a lot of people that just don't like change. They don't like any change at all. There's nothing you can do about that. If it's your tournament and you have a vision for it, I always encourage you to do your thing. I try to back you up. Being your buddy, I'm going to have your back almost any time. And you can tell people firsthand, I can give you criticism. I don't agree with everything 100%.
You mean too much criticism.
I give you my honest opinion all the time.
I know you got to slow down on. I don't like this. You're being too honest with me. Damn it! You got to slow down on that. Golly. I appreciate you. That's like I said. You tell me what you think, and like I said, I don't always agree with what you think, but usually if you tell me like that you had a question about the points or you didn't like the points, and I explained why the points are the way they are, you kind of maybe don't understand some things that I do, but I think once you do, it kind of changes your mind too, or maybe I didn't understand what you say. But I promise there's a lot of thought that goes into every decision I make. A ton of thought.
Are a lot of stress. Lisa confused? I didn't have a problem with your points.
No. I'm not. I'm just saying there's just a lot of thought and stuff that goes into that.
Yeah, I know generally, even if I give you a criticism or a thought or whatever, you'll come back to me with why you do it. And sometimes I can understand, I can see that, Sometimes it can't, we still just agree to disagree. And luckily, neither one of us, takes that to heart. We can do that. We can disagree with each other and not instantly become mortal enemies. So I appreciate the fact that, I can be listened to and, just reflect on it, and whether or not it's thought about or not thought about is okay.
No, like I said, I like that, and like I said, but just like Brian said, opinions are worth $5, and that's not going to change, right?
Nope.
So here's a question, Brad Holt.
That's a good question, actually.
That's a really good question. I want to talk about that.
I would like to talk about that myself. My personal opinion seems to be different than a lot of people's. Do you want me to talk first, or do you want to?
You talk, and then I'm pulling up some data.
So, I moved down here, let's just say 3 years ago, and I've heard that a lot. Wheeler, pressured, blah blah blah, and from my experience, from my being here, being on the water quite a bit, the only time Wheeler is pressure fished is just some of these bigger tournaments. I mean, a 15-20 boat tournament that's not pressure, and those happen, only once every month or every other month, or let's just say once a month. And then a big tournament, you have Sea Arc, Owners Tournament, and Bama Blues. So you have two big events every year. You do have like Patriot catfishing and stuff, but that's a fun tournament. That's not, from what I have seen, your Monday through Thursday, even Friday, most weeks, there's no catfish boats out here. There is, like, you can run Wheeler for an hour, just running around different places, and not see a single catfish boat out fishing this lake through the week.
So my take on that, yeah, I think I'm trying to get all the Bama Blues data. We had a ridiculous weigh-in for Bama Blues. Do you remember that? I mean, we weighed like 67 boats, which was a lot. I mean, that usually don't weigh that much to the field. Then we went to the Sea Arc tournament. Do you remember that?
This year, yeah. I don't.
How many boats were over 100 pounds?
Wasn't like, I don't know, like 14 or something. I mean, it was stupid.
14?
I don't know. It was a lot, I thought.
36 boats.
36. Yeah, it was a lot. It was like crazy.
Imagine rolling in with 102.33 in your live well, thinking I'm cashing a check today, baby. And you end up 35th place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this Sea Arc tournament, it's another one, living here. Terry and I free fishing on Tuesday. People will get tired of this story, but it's absolutely 100% true. I've got pictures. We had in two fish in less than 10 minutes, 130 plus pounds. So, and actually, I want to say it was well north of that. I want to say we had an 80 and a 60. And I'm talking mid 80s, mid 60s. We didn't weigh them, but I've caught enough of the 80s and the 60s out here that I'm pretty accurate with them. But yeah, within 10 minutes, two fish, and we knew immediately. So, but then tournament day, again, all those people caught that many fish, and we went to where those fish were at, and on Tuesday, and they weren't there, and we struggled. We just, yeah, it is what it is. It happens, and that's, honestly, a lot of the locals here say that for your Sea Art tournament, your Bama Blues tournament, a lot of times it's not your locals here that come in and win the tournament. Do they place a lot? Yeah, but winning the tournament many times it's from it's from Damian Clark in Indiana or Kentucky. I'm sorry, or somebody from Mississippi or whatever. It's always or some guy that just showed up and they forgot their debt finder at home and they just.
I mean, we did that, and you take it. I mean, it's wild. I think out of the top team, hardly any were from Alabama. Craig Norris from Kansas. I mean, he made a statement with 173. Now, if you think about this, and I'm not calling Craig Norris out, but Craig Norris is not only winning by several points in the Twisted Cat Outdoors Angler of the Year, which is extremely impressive. He won a 157 boat tournament at the Sea Arc Invitational with 173 pounds, and I think Craig has won the Sea Arc Invitational twice. I mean, you start talking about the best anglers in the country. I mean, you can't leave him out of conversation.
I was going to say is that, in catfishing, I know we're getting into some different subjects and things, but we definitely need to get better at raising guys up, really.
That is my entire goal that I've started this year, and next year it's taking it to another level. Like we are going to, I really want to do the angler profiles. I've been wanting to make my own little post about, I guess Twisted Cat could kind of do that, like who I think are the top 20 anglers in the country. And I think it would blow some minds, but I would put those top 20 anglers against anybody.
That comes into,
you know what I mean? That's years of watching people fish, seeing how they finish, not just the Twisted Cat, in everything.
So he's talking about, Brad Holt is talking about, I think he's talking about what I said, and what I said was different than what he just said. I said your Monday through Thursday, this lake did not have hardly anybody on it. He said on the weekends. Yes, there are people that drive down and they're fishing it on the weekends for sure. And even some that come through the week. I'm not saying that there's nobody out there ever. I'm just saying as far as being heavily pressured to the point where, like people think that there's 40 catfish boats on this lake every single day or anything like that. That's not the case at all. Like I said, I can't tell you how many times I can run from the dam, the Wheeler Dam, and run all the way up to the river section and not see a single catfish boat fishing at all. I'm not saying there's not, somebody up the Elk or somewhere I just didn't quite catch them, but there's just not, to me, the pressure that people seem to think that there is out here. Because I would say pressure is a place that's really just getting hammered day in and day out, week in and week out. Whereas, that I don't see that. Hey, Seth, long time no see. So yeah, don't get me wrong, Brad. I hope that, even if you disagree with me, that's fine. My personal view is just that it's not really as pressured as many people think.
I mean, and I think also you hit it on different times of year. I think every body of water, what we've learned has their ups and downs. And Wheeler the last couple of years, I think it was me on a slump, but you take 2025, dude. And I mean, 2 tournaments that we hosted. I don't know that you will ever see a weigh-in better than the 2025 Sea Arc Invitational ever in my lifetime. What's your thoughts?
Does the Tennessee River still have commercial fishing or live truck tanks show up? As far as this stretch here?
Well, right now it's illegal to haul a live fish out of the state of Alabama. That's a new law. So
But
I don't know if
I've heard people say they've seen the live trucks at night, like middle of the night, coming in off
true.
the
And
sand.
yeah. And I think that is, you can't stop that. I mean, that's like drugs. I mean, you ain't gonna stop it. But I think now that there's laws, you're seeing that being forced. I don't know what, how strong the laws are, or what they get if they get caught. But I mean, I don't know. The
And
big
Brad asked,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Brad asked if I can tell him that I haven't seen it change in the last 10 years. I have fished it for over the 10 years, but I've only lived here for 3. So in the 3 years, have I seen it change? No, not really. And has it changed from before when I got here? Because I only fished, I would come down from Indiana and fish the Bama Blues and Sea Arc Owners, whatever, just a couple times a year. So I don't know if it was, because I did watch the Ohio River change in front of my eyes. I mean, I didn't know anything about the Ohio River, and I could go down there and just throw a line out and catch a 40 or 50 pounder. It seemed like, when I first started fishing it, 15 years ago or so. And then I literally could go down 4 times and not catch a 20 pounder. So, does pressure and commercial fishing and stuff, it can absolutely make a dramatic impact on a river system in a relatively short amount of time. But in the last, let's just say 3 years, I mean, I don't fish all the time, but I've caught multiple 80s. I've caught multiple 70s and 60s, caught the 104 just about 3 years ago, probably. So, and I've seen plenty of big fish caught. So to me, that's where I'm getting my opinion from.
Yeah, I think that you're going to have a lot of different years. The Sea Arc tournament go there, and there's a big flood, and between the water levels, the weather, the fronts, so many things can. The best way to really tell is tournaments. You can tell, but you got to have the data. And again, that's the best tournament that I've ever seen at Wheeler, in my opinion. Somebody can maybe tell me I'm wrong, but 36 teams weighing over 100 pounds that's a pretty crazy day.
I
don't
definitely.
think.
Go ahead.
I don't think that'll ever happen again.
I don't know, and I think that somebody else hit the nail on the head earlier talking about the Missouri River. We're going to probably see more and more of those hundreds caught because the technology and stuff that we're seeing getting better. Things that Alex, and I talk about, and Brian with the live scoping in Oklahoma and stuff with the anglers kind of coming over from crappie fishing to catfish with live scope and doing very, very well with it. There's a lot of things that could definitely make an impact on this river system. And one of the things I was going to talk about, though, was the 3 years ago when I came here, the skipjack on Wilson. Everybody went and caught skipjack there. And it, almost like the time that I got here, the skipjack on Wilson just disappeared. I mean, to me, I don't think that it was the reason that they were trying to say it was, where is these few commercial fishermen that were down here selling bait and whatnot. I just, from what I've seen with the Cumberland River in Cumberland City, there's no place that's been hammered skipjack harder than that area there, and it's still fine, absolutely, and
I think
skipjack.
so different than catfish, though. I mean, they've moved too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get at, was that I think that now this year you're seeing skipjack come back in good numbers. At the Safety Harbor, Wilson, Wheeler Dam area, you're really starting to see them come back pretty good. I think that it was just a cycle. I think there's 2, 3 year, 4 year cycles where your fry and things, have a lower survivability. Just who knows what the reason is of why you have these years. But I think fishing, like you just said, catfish can have these good years, bad years. There's lakes in Indiana that, they're channel cat lakes, and they used to produce 19-pound, 20-pound channels all the time. And then for 3 years, you don't catch anything over 12 pounds, And so it's just really, I think it's a cycle. I think there's a lot of cycles going on.
I mean, I see that. So in our pool, on pool 20 in the Mississippi, I've had 3 years ago, I could catch more. One cast net every time I went out all year long, and as much shad as I wanted to catch. This year was not like that. It has its ups and downs. I like when you guys say that you have your skipjack sucked down in Alabama. It's usually good in my backyard, which is kind of weird that I can catch skipjack off my wall, but you guys can't catch it down there. So I think they migrate. I think that you have your ups and downs, just like with the catfish. That's true. Here's another question I wanted to answer. Jerry says, Alex, since Bama Blues is now confined to Wheeler only, what are your thoughts on no rods in the water on Wheeler for 3 days prior to Bama Blues? You can graph the lake during those days if you wish, and if you would like to put bait in the water, you can drop down to Wilson to fish. Just like to get your thoughts on that. So I'll do my thoughts first. Good question. Talked a lot about that. Actually, same thing. So I already thought that I was shaking the tree at the $1,000 entry. I didn't want people to come to my house just yet. So I like to do things in baby steps. The $1,000 was the first thing. I'm going to ask everybody there this year a couple questions. That is one of them. Here's the flip side of that. When I used to fish Bama Blues and Sea Arc and all that, if I went down there, I was going to go there for a week, and I wanted to win the tournament, but I also wanted to catch fish every day, go out, fish. If we win the tournament, great, but there's a lot of anglers that want to go fun fish throughout the week. As the sport's growing, I think you're seeing that kind of switch a little bit to their, being competitive and winning the tournament. I've done some of the no pre-fishing stuff for the championships for Twisted Cat. I'm not doing it for this one just because it's so far and a lot of people have never been down there. What I would like to see, though, for Bama Blues is that where Thursday there's no fishing, Friday there's no fishing. You can graph, but then Saturday is game day. I don't know. We'll kind of see. So I'm going to put some like A, B, and C's together for the captain's meeting this year. And that will be the main one because I'd like to see that. No pre-fishing like that day or two before, just to see if that can, if people are excited about that. So yeah, that's kind of where So what's your thoughts of that, Chris?
Yeah, I'd be down. Like, I don't know about 3 days. I would say 1 to 2 days for sure. 2 days. I mean, maybe starting it off one day and then moving it to 2 days, but maybe just going straight to the 2 days or something.
Here's why. This is why, and I see it. I'm not done it myself, but I see this. Let's say that I go down there and I fish, and I know whether it's the Mississippi or whatever. By Thursday, I know what I'm doing. If I don't, then it's not good. So by Thursday, I know what I'm doing, or Wednesday, I know what I'm doing. Thursday night's the captain's meeting. What is Alex going to do on Friday? Do you think I'm going to go fish my spot? I can go run there, check on the fish. But honestly, tournament day, if you know how to read a sonar and you can put in a little bit before tournament starts, you should be able to run to your spot, graph it within 15 minutes and know, where's my plan B, or something's got to change. But what I think is happening is on Friday, when you know your spot, well, maybe I know where Chris Wallace is fishing. So what does Alex want to do? Well, I know where Chris Wallace is fishing, maybe because I just seen him catch some fish or whatever. So then I go beat that spot up because I want to catch some fish. I think that some of that is happening. And I think that getting away where even if it's next year, maybe we start for Friday, no bait in the water. I think that's my goal, is that we get to a point even with Twisted Cat, and we're not there yet. I mean, we are just not there yet. but we get to a point where maybe there is no pre-fishing on Fridays. But I think Bama Blues again is that $1,000 entry kind of tree shaking deal. And after how that goes, which is going to be one of our next events, like I said, Thursday night, I will have a questionnaire that I will, when you come see Liz, you're going to answer 2 or 3 questions, and I will compile that, and that will help determine what we do in 2027. Gosh, that seems like a long ways away. But I think that that's what's happening. Not that I would do that, but if there's a stretch that that's good, or maybe it's, you just want to go fun fish, I think that's, you know what I mean? But just like Jerry said, if you want to go fish on Thursday and Friday, go down to Wilson, go to Guntersville, have some fun there. Good thing about it, what's happening on Wilson or Guntersville will be almost the same on Wheeler, like if they are ledged up on or flat, shallow, or deep. So you still could pre-fish on a different section. So yeah, so I mean, you could even utilize that's Phil's. I like Phil. He's taking it to a whole nother level. He's saying that now you can pre-fish on another lake, which you can, I guess, but you got to be able to put it together on game day. So many people over the years I've learned, they come. I love you, Aaron Gerald, but there was a year that you would really get on them. You had a game plan on Saturday. There's several of you. Aaron, you just came to mind first. If you go to a tournament and you knock them dead on Saturday, 7 days before the event, you better be ready to get rocked, because next it's going to change. And that's what I think taking 2 days out would be pretty cool, because then anglers got to have to be able to make changes quickly.
For people coming to Decatur for Bama Blues, they can go an hour either direction, and I'm not exactly, but just to say an hour, you can go an hour and 20 minutes and be on Guntersville. You can go an hour and 20 minutes and be on Pickwick. You can go right at an hour and 45, 55 minutes and be on Wilson. So even if you come down here and you come down for a few days and you'd love to, like Philip said, you can go to one of these other lakes and do some fishing, pre-fishing. If let's just say you cut off fishing on Wednesday, even though it'd probably be Thursday and Friday, but let's just say you did 3 days and cut it off on Wednesday, and people said, I'm going to come down on Wednesday, they could still go fish leading up to Saturday. They could go scan Wheeler, but they could go fish with Wilson, Guntersville, Pickwick. There's so many relatively close bodies of water that all have great fishing, close by, that they don't have to, come and feel like they can't fish until Saturday.
No. Yeah. I mean, but again, I think that, we'll kind of see what people think. I always do a questionnaire at the end of the Twisted Cat stuff, and I think some people just like to mess with me on what they put down, but that would be Liz.
Liz.
No, Liz is saying, why are you still live? It's 9:30. You've been live for 2.5 hours.
Bud likes to talk, so blame it on me.
I mean, we got a lot of people watching. I don't know what they're watching. Maybe we're good looking. I mean, we're twins.
Yeah.
Maybe they like what you have on your TV. I don't know.
Yeah, they're just all watching the Ultra HD places.
Calvin Anderson said he's doing like a split. So, I mean, I think there's some talk in that. I know Brian did one with Cat Masters where, battle the lakes and you kind of switch lakes, but there's a lot that goes into that too.
I really like the one.
Hey, you don't want to have Liz's mic on right now. Wouldn't be probably too good.
Or they can come the weekend before.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, I think that 1 day is a good start, because you have to be, And then, and do you get? Yeah, you let people go on the water, but you can get really wild and say there's no boats on the water on Friday at all, and you got to be off the water at 5:00 on Thursday.
Or like you said earlier, people could come if they're going to come for the week. They come fish Chris Sapp's tournament on the week before. They stay. They can do some pre-fishing. They can scan. They could fish the Bama Blues. They want to do 2 tournaments and really just sort of feel like they're doing, getting some patterns down or whatever.
Yeah, Aaron's made it for 3 years in a row, which is impressive to do.
Heck yeah, it is. Good job. Maybe I should start sending him some messages on where we should go because I've never been there.
No, he's made the championship 3 years in a row.
Yeah, Morgan City, right? Like down in that? Or is this your first year there?
He's made the Twisted Cat Championship. No, this is Twisted Cat. This is anybody's first time there.
This is everybody's first time there?
Yeah. What is Liz talking about?
Oh, her mic.
Oh, I know what Phil's talking about. He's okay. I know what you're talking about, Phil. That's an inside joke on when we were at a tournament. She said something on live that didn't sound like it came out a lot different than what it was meant for. If that makes sense. Yeah. I kind of like having you on the podcast. You get a little deep sometimes, but you say how it is. You should be Chris How It Is Wallace.
Chris How It Is Wallace. A.K.A. Fudd.
A.K.A.
It's funny.
Hey, what's FUD? What's FUD about?
You don't know.
Dude, it's not for this podcast?
Not PG.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll get into that another time, I guess.
But FUD, I've had the nickname for a very, very long time from my younger years. I actually, if people don't know about me, I owned a video game store in Indiana, and it was called FUD's Video Games, which was I had it for over 10 years. It's a great store. It was an awesome experience. I actually opened it not long after getting away from the Catfish Weekly podcast, which was I think it was the first podcast, catfishing podcast online. I think what's his name in Texas there? Chad
Wall?
Chad Ferguson did I think he started one and he only did one episode that was before ours, but ours was the first kind of recurring weekly catfishing podcast, and it was fun.
Yeah, it's crazy. There was a lot of little. We won't get into that whole whatever you want to call that, but we talked earlier in the beginning of this podcast of exactly, Phil. But imagine if David Johnson could have left all the drama out, where Catfish Weekly could be. Anyways, that's a whole other podcast. But
David Johnson.
Yeah. For some of you that don't know, that was years ago, but you can hashtag David Johnson catfishing. Can you still do that, Phil? Go to your search bar and hashtag David Johnson catfishing.
I wore wigs. I wore wigs way back before Rhett Flair and yeah, if anybody wants to see some funny stuff, go to YouTube and type in Runny Doo Doo. see what you get there.
Oh my. Some of us know. But yeah, so 9:31. I got stuff to do. I got probably laundry to do and dinner to cook. But this year, who's getting this back. This thing has got to be like 15 pounds.
You have a shot of getting that?
You do not have a shot at getting this. The second year we've done this belt, there'll be some other stuff that goes with it. If, in my opinion, right now in the sport, if you can get this, you're the man. I mean, I think it's that. I think that's the toughest thing right now to get. What is your honestly? What's your thoughts?
Me?
Yeah.
That would. Yeah. I honestly, yes. I mean, I haven't
Oh,
fished me very well. Oh man. I definitely. Yeah, I think it's. I haven't fished every trail, and there might be, very, very tough competition. So, of course, from what I've seen, what I've been a part of, that belt, yeah, that's going to be the premier award.
And there's only, I mean, in my opinion, really only the top 9 anglers have a chance at it. You got Les Thompson Jr., Kevin Parks, Joe Lunsford, John Jameson, Eddie Henney, Craig Norris. Yeah. Because how that works, I think, I mean, look at JT's profile picture. And you can't do it I promise you can't do it every year. JT is sitting in 29th place. So he went from first, JT, I love you, from first to 29th. I mean, you can get humbled quickly. And Shipman, I don't think, has a chance. I could be wrong. I mean, everybody else could skunk or something, but how that works, let's share it one more time. Because who asked? Devin asked. How Angler of the Year is won. So you take all these tournaments. We'll scroll up. If you look there, you've got, it doesn't show my mouse. Maybe it does, maybe it don't. I don't know. So you got Bama Blues, Lake Ray Hubbard, Alton, Fort Smith. You have 13 tournaments. And each tournament you get points. 200 points for first, 199 for second, 198 for third, and so on.
You look at Craig Norris's points. That is.
If you look, we're just going to look at Craig Norris. Right now, nobody's touched what he has done in all the years so far of Twisted Cat. So he won. Bama Blues was a rough start. He had a rough start. He kind of went home. He regrouped. He took a couple days of vacation. Had some talks with people, and he was going to hang it up. And he said, "No, I'm going to go all in." So he went to Texas. First time on Lake Ray Hubbard, won it. And he said, "You know what? I'm not done yet. I'm going to go to Alton and get second place." And then went to Fort Smith with an awesome finish, and Perryville, and Burlington. So, I mean, he's got a 200, a 199, a 197, a 197, a 196. I mean, he's got some crazy points. So his total, the best you can have if you were a perfect score is 800. Because we're going to take 4 tournaments. So each tournament, these numbers change because people's best 4 will take over. So he is at 793. But then you have Eddie, John, Joe, and Kevin at 789, 789, 789, 789. Vance and Andy at 81. And then this is going to be tough. I mean, Nooner and his dad are going to have to win the tournament and, I don't know, put sugar in their engines or something in the top 4. I'm not sure how they can do it. But it's possible. So after this is a done deal. These points, you're just going to add 200 points. So it's plus the championship. So this could be, if he wins, he'd have 993. So a lot can change. So far, I am pretty sure, don't quote me, nobody has ever won the Angler of the Year going into the championship in first place. I hate to say that, Craig. I shouldn't have said it. Hopefully you're not watching anymore. Aaron Gerald, if I'm correct, you went in first place last year, correct? I think, and then JT came in and took it home.
I mean, that's 793 and 789 with all the second place tied teams. That's, to me, that's very, very impressive.
Yeah. And then another way, so to explain that again, I will pull up this other screen, how that all plays out. So if you go to the website, and we've shared it a lot on other places, but right here, this before you hit it, Eddie, good question. So 2025 points race calculations to qualify for championship, we will take anglers' best 4 finishes. Each descending placement drops 1 point value. 2025 points winners calculated based on top 4 finishes plus the championship. Now, here's you got to pay attention. You got to tie your shoes back on. In case of a tie at the championship, it's either going to be A, big fish from championship. B, if still a tie and anglers are on the same team, they split. So 2 years ago, Kevin and John were the anglers of the year because they were on a team. But let's say that could get super interesting if you want to get technical. Because so let's say that John and Kevin tie or beat Craig by 4 places, which means they tie. Then whoever had big fish takes it. Does that make sense? You with me? So Angler of the Year is kind of, like I said, it's different because not all anglers stay together, but when they do, they're kind of one, if that makes sense. But that's kind of the best way that we have put it together. But if you are in the top, if you made it in the top 50, you got to pat yourself on the back. If you made it in the top 10, I mean, you're a good angler, period. And if you got 793 points, come on, dude. I don't even have to say anything about that.
If you got 51st place, you're pretty amazing yourself.
You're all amazing in my eyes. I know you're amazing in your own eyes. I said that already.
I know. I had to feed into that lead in for the show tonight that you did for me.
Yeah. And I try to do so. Is anybody ever get on TikTok and get drawn into that TikTok shop? I just have to show everybody this. I did the other night, and I ended up getting 3 of these O-lights. If anybody's ever asking, I love these things. I've already got 1, and then I got some kind of crazy deal where I've got 3 more now. TikTok shop got me.
What are they for? What kind of lights are they?
They're lights. I mean, I got lights everywhere. Lights on. Oh, because sometimes I like the night fish, Chris. Or I fish an MRM event and I leave at 3 a.m. So I got to have my lights.
Put them on the front of the boat so you see where you're going.
Or the live well checks. O-clip light.
I just want to say,
that you love me? Oh.
Well, besides that, for your mom, your dad, Liz, Rhett.
You are getting one of these this year.
Yeah, awesome. It's not coming in. It's blurred. There you go. Awesome. Can't wait. But no, right, for everybody helping you, Tom, everybody doing what they're doing. It's one of the reasons that it's made, to me, you the premier trail, the things that you're trying to do to take the sport. It's just, to me, it's appreciated. I want you to know. And your family.
Well, I appreciate everybody. I appreciate all the anglers and spectators and these crazy people that are watching us on Facebook. There's 56 people on Facebook and YouTube watching us, which is kind of weird, but Yeah. And again, I never try to over push partnerships and sponsorships and stuff. What are you laughing about?
Greg says, what does second place in the points get this year? Asking for a friend.
Ouch. These sponsors, these are just some of the sponsors, but on these are like our title sponsors on the bottom, but we've got sponsors on the truck, and every single one of them, if you see them on our jersey, is big in so many ways. Whether you are a Sea Arc fan or a Sea Arc boat fan, I'm telling you, if Sea Arc Boats wasn't the presenting sponsor, there would not be a Twisted Cat Outdoors #1. And all the others that you see, Masio, Pro Guide, Suzuki. You don't like Suzuki, that's fine, but what other companies are doing what these companies are doing to push the sport? That's how we have 100% payback plus big fish money and a championship that is a no entry fee. And I don't hit this hard enough like I should. This is a no entry fee championship that we didn't collect money all year long for this championship. It's $25,000 plus there's added stuff on that. We're still kind of putting everything together, but that's a lot of money. That's a no entry fee championship. That is an invite only, but a prestigious thing to be a part of. And I know I joke a lot about this, but like to get a sticker like this, you have to qualify. And I know it's just a sticker, but it's getting to be where people are upset. And I mean, I feel for people that don't make the championship, but I think it's taken the sport to another level. And I can't wait to see next year, where we go. I know I always kind of say we need to get a slogan. Maybe some year we'll get a slogan, but my slogan's always been no excuses. I learned that from watching Gary V. He's kind of been inspiring to me to kind of help build Twisted Cat and grow it and stuff. So yeah, like I said, whether you like the sponsors or use them, reach out to them and tell them and say, hey, thanks for being a part of this. First place teams getting sunglasses and striker rain suits, stuff like that is a big deal. So be proud that you made it. And if you didn't make it, strive to make it next year. And we are going to do some more 1v1 stuff. I think we're trying to do a 1v1 here in maybe 2 in November, 1 down in Morgan City. So if you want a piece of that action, let me know. You just got to have some good service, maybe even Starlink Mini. I'm trying to get a second Starlink to have 2 boats outfitted, but want to kind of get back into the 1v1 stuff and next year do some more 1v1 stuff. So, all right, that's my spiel. You got anything else left, Chris?
I don't think so.
Sorry for all the bad things you said about me in backstage. No.
Can you tell me what any of them were?
Not on live. All right. Well, we're out. Thanks for watching. If you're not watching this live on Monday night, you can comment and we will. I'll get back to them. Thanks for following and being a part of Twisted Cat so far in 2025, and a lot's coming in 2026. You got to tell them bye.
Oh yeah. Bye, everybody.
All right. See y'all. Have a good week.